Hi and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a dress. I picked up this really cute fabric a couple of months ago, right here. It's a black and green plaid that I got from Mood, and I have been trying to figure out what I want to do with it exactly for a couple of months. And I think what I want is to make a dress with some cute poofy sleeves. So I think it's going to be above the knee with some big foofy sleeves and a half circle skirt. And then I really want to have the back lace up. And I'm going to draft my own pattern for this, except for the sleeves. The sleeves I am stealing from probably one of the many McCall's patterns I have, because like I think 4 of them have these big foofy sleeves. So let's go. Okay, so I have traced out my pattern pieces, and I've already started drafting out what the actual pattern's gonna be. So this is the back. This is my bodice back piece. I am going to be cutting off the entire top, starting at this line here. It's just gonna be kind of faint. And then I added 5/8 seam allowance on this side because I'm gonna have a zipper in the center back, and then I'm gonna be cutting these out and adding seam allowance where these dart lines are. And then from that, to get the lacing panel pieces, I took the center back piece here, and then I traced it out, and I've actually decreased the length of it, going this way, by 1/4 of an inch total, so that it doesn't like stick up past the top of the dress or like the waist. Which should also make sewing it together easier. And then we've also decreased the width of it by 1.5 inches so that I have a maximum 3-inch lacing gap in the back, because I want the lacing to be like visible, and I also really want this dress to be like adjustable. So then I've got my front bodice block, which I've traced out, and I've done the same thing where I found how like high or how low of a neckline I wanted it to be, marked it, took it over to right around where the like if this was a princess seam bodice, where that seam would be, and then angled it up into the armpit area, so that it makes a nice line when the darts are in, theoretically. Also lengthened this by 1/4 inch, and that's pretty much all I've done so far. I will not need to add any seam allowance to this. I think that this I'm just going to be able to cut out and probably have it work. So I'm going to cut all these pattern pieces out, and I'm going to make a mock-up, and you'll see me when I have the mock-up done and any adjustments I might have. So I also forgot to mention that I'm going to be using the sleeve from McCall's M8094, because I want this like really cottagecore like fantasy look, and I think that this will help me get that. So I'm going to be using the sleeve from VC and then just extending it so that it's full length, because I do want long sleeves on this dress. And then I think I'm going to leave this like little flutter at the end, although I do think I'm going to make mine a little shorter because I think theirs might be long, but we'll see. So I've got I'm going to cut this out, trace it and lengthen it, and then start on my mock-up for the bodice, because I really don't need to mock up the skirt. I've done so many half, full, 3/4 circle skirts now that it's just really not necessary. Okay, so I've got my mock-up done. I was going to show you guys this like on me, but turns out it's horrifically indecent looking. So like the top like 2 inches of my bra were showing, because of where the strap sleeve started, and also like the top of the bodice. So yeah, so you get to see this not on me. So the length of it was actually good. Like the waist actually hit me in a really good place. The sleeve itself was a good fit. However, I did decide I want this to fit more like a floofy 3/4 sleeve. So I'm going to be shrinking the elastic by about 3 inches. I made the elastic too big in the first place for like a wrist length, but we're going to be making this smaller by about 3 inches. And then obviously I'll be hemming this when I do the actual thing. The strap or the sleeve, I keep calling it a strap. The sleeve itself needs to move inward about an inch. So I've actually, I'm going to be expanding the pattern on the underarm bit so that this all just shifts a little bit, hopefully enough. And then I think that I want the elastic in this to be a smidge longer as well. Technically, this sleeve was from a size 14 pattern, and I am currently more like a 16, so I'm going to be adding just a little bit to this elastic here so that it fits a little better, a little more comfortably. And then the bodice. Okay, so as I said, the length is hitting me in a good place. However, it does somehow dip down too far, so I'm going to be adding 1 inch at the top. Not all the way around though, because if I add it in the armpit, it's going to be like up in my pit. So I am going to add like 1 inch starting here, and then it'll just kind of slope down into this. It'll make sense when I show you the changes itself. And then I'm also going to be changing my dart. It goes a little too far in towards the apex for my taste. I don't know how I didn't notice that before. It bothers me. So just gonna adjust it like back out towards the side seam about 1/4 inch. As far as the back goes, I actually don't really have any changes. So I've got that done. So now time to make some pattern changes. I have added this like inch tall swoopy thing to the top, so that it has the neckline that I want still, but actually covers what it needs to cover. Okay, so for the sleeve, for some reason last night when I was making the pattern adjustments, I added a 1/2 inch to each side of the sleeve. You can see the lines very strongly on that side, and then less so on this side. I don't know why I did that when it needed to actually be 1 inch on both. I don't know what I was doing. I'm gonna add another 1/2 inch to each one, and then it should fit great after that. Mysteries abound. So I'm gonna do that really quick. I've already drafted my skirt pattern. It's literally just a 1/2 circle skirt. I've drafted technically 2 different 1/2 circle skirts, one piece for the front and then a piece that is 1/2 of each side of the back because I had to add seam allowance for the zipper. So I've got that all done. So after I make this sleeve adjustment, which I'll do off camera, I'm going to start cutting my fabric out. Okay, so it is time to attach the interfacing to my little lacing panels that I'm making. So I'm going to just separate this one out. And what I'm going to do is just line this up and then flip it over. And I'm going to put a press cloth over this so that my iron doesn't get all nasty. Okay, just pressing this out. Okay. We've got one interfaced piece of cotton, and this is the side because it's got the little slit. This is the side that's going into the seam, which means that this is the lacing panel side. So I'm going to take this, stack it with my other lacing panel side, or my other piece, which is going to be, you know, the back of this, and set these aside. So this is the right side. Now I have to do the left. I'm going to do it the exact same way. Okay, so next I'm going to pin the outer lacing panel to the lining of it, and, well, right sides together, and then stitch it together, flip it inside out. Okay, so I have flipped it inside out, right side out, right side out. I'm gonna go press this really quick, and then I'm going to top stitch just along this edge just to reinforce one more time, because my eyelets for my lacing are gonna go here and I don't want it to pull. So just the more I've got going on over here, the better. I don't want to bone it because I don't want the eyelets to have to be like further in. So I'm gonna go do that and then do the other one, and then I'll have 2 little lacing panels ready to go and I can start working on the bodice. Okay, so I have 2 lovely little lacing panels. Like, look how good that looks. So these I'm gonna set aside for now until I am ready to install them into the back. So next up is sewing the darts in the front of the bodice and then sewing all of the back bodice pieces together. Okay, so I've just pressed my darts, so I've got sort of a 3D shape now, which is exciting. So I'm going to do the other side, and then I will start putting the back together. Okay, so next up is skirt, and I've got everything laid out. I have to attach the pockets first, and then I'll do the side seams. Okay, so it is sleeve time. I can't actually get the whole thing on camera because they're huge. They're like, I think like 20 inches wide and like 27 inches long because I have really long arms. Are they 27 inches long? That feels too long. Are my arms really a yard long? Anyway, so this is one of the sleeve pieces, and then a la cooking shows. Here's one I've already prepared. So all you do is this might be hard to see because I actually used self bias tape, but you attach bias tape to the sleeve head, stick elastic through that. Well, actually, you put the bias tape on, and then you sew your underarm seam, which I've got here, and then you put another bias tape casing where you want it to like suck in for the wrist. Like you could do a casing at the end of the sleeve instead, but I wanted like a little ruffle thing because I'm actually going to wear these like a 3/4 sleeve, not down to my wrist most of the time. And then once you've gotten the elastic through this one, you thread it through the top one, and you have to tack the ends down, or your elastic will just like slurp back into the casing and it won't do this fun gather thing. And then this one you just overlap, and then you have to slip stitch a section of it shut because you have to leave part of it open or you wouldn't be able to get elastic in there. And then you have a sleeve. So sleeve, I'm going to do the other one, and then after that I'm going to quickly put my lining together, and then we can attach the sleeves and lining and bodice together. So I have most of this dress done. I'll show you, cut away to like a little thing. So all I have to do now is add the zipper, do the eyelets on the back for the lacing panel, and then hem it, which is awesome. Okay, so I am just getting ready to mark on the inside, where it won't be visible, the places where my grommets are gonna go. Okay, so last step, I've got all my grommets in. All I've got to do is stitch down the lining to the zipper and the waist, and it'll be done. Okay, so this is the dress. Things I'm really happy about. I really love the back. Like, I really love how the back turned out. I think it's so cute. It's my best invisible zip yet. I think the sleeves turned out really cute. They're nice and floofy. They stick up nicely. They're comfortable, and I think at some point I want to do another one like this, but without the ruffle at the end. Not because I don't like it, but just like to have a different one. And maybe like full length. Overall thoughts, I am happy with this dress, but I do need to make a couple of small changes to it just so that it's a really comfortable wear for me, because right now I'm having to like pull at the shoulders to keep, because of how wide the neck is, I'm having to like yank at the sleeves. I don't know if you can tell, the neckline's too wide. And that is actually because I accidentally, when I was tracing my bodice block, I accidentally left the seam allowance from the center front on that piece. I thought because I had, you know, gained a little bit of weight since I did the bodice block that it was fine, but it's too wide. So basically I inserted a piece of elastic across the neckline to try to compensate for that, and it's just not quite enough. At some point in the future, going to be adding a skirt lining of rayon so that I don't have to worry about bunching, and then taking that inch out of the center front. I think my next few projects are probably not going to be sewing projects. I'm going to be doing a little bit of like decor stuff, and I think hopefully some bookbinding. It's been a long time since I did any, and I think I really want to kind of stretch my wings there. And then, yeah, so you'll be seeing more stuff soon, just probably not sewing for a little bit, and I need a little break after this one. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and I try to post at least once a month. I would like to post twice a month, but like life happens, so. What? Yeah? I know. I better go. He wants something. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.